Welcome to another episode on my walking robot Mirft2 based on the fischertechnik TXT controller, which runs embedded Linux. When I prepared for this recording, I saw two things. First of all, after powering up on a freshly charged battery, the screen stays grey. I have seen it before, and while I usually power it down and then start up again, this time I had the idea of checking whether I could log in using my tablet, because this is now running the default firmware. So when we look at it, you can see I am logged in. So with that respect, it works. Then will it do anything? Well, I have also mounted the middle legs, but I've seen something worrisome. And let me turn the robot around a bit, because what I noticed is last time as well that this gear was rattling, and if you look at it now, there is something that worries me, because this particular part, the yellow part, is able to shift away, and that makes it possible that it completely gets unaligned, and I can shift it back, of course, but how easy is it for it to shift away? And that's a big concern, because that's not good when it shifts away. I could put some helping piece on that place, and let me find that particular piece if I still have it somewhere. Anyway, let's first do a run and see if everything else stays together. So I'm now selecting Mirft2 program and run it, and let's see whatever happens. Yeah, right. It pushes it off and then stops. So let's do that again. The other side is not moving at all, and apart from that, you can see in the upper left part, and let me carefully hold the whole robot, the part where I shifted the whole frame is now diverted again, so I need to fix that. And let me stop the program for now. Alright, and by just running, this part has shifted inwards, and so this part is now no longer nicely aligned, and that's no good. So I need to find a solution here. On the other hand, why has the motor stopped anyway? And then here is a problem as well, and I'm not quite sure if that is because I lifted it. I think it is, but why isn't the right therefore this gear has come off completely. So yes, then it stops running. Ouch. Now when I do this, it's still powered on. So yes, I have the old problem of the gear once again. And that is giving me another problem, because the easiest way to mount this is to unmount this, lift it, put it on, and push it down again. And I can't say I like that, but it's one way or the other. So this gives another physical problem apart from this problem here. Another question: why does this one come off and hardly ever the other one? It's always been this side. Anyway, time to fix this part anyway. So, no, I don't have to do this. I just shift this out. Push it up, or I should be able to anyway. Yes. And then what? Remove this leg a bit. Push this gear on, press it down, and make sure that this one is here, but also put these things back in place. All right. So, how to fix this? That is a very good problem, very good question, and I'd rather use one of these or a similar thing. Because it shifts in the block like this, and it can be mounted, I think, on here. I can't do it on the outside, so I have to do it on the inside. And then the question is, why is this part not doing it? Not doing the same thing? Probably because of the way it is constructed. And a bad thing is, I need to no, I won't even have to take it all apart to put it together, but let me first find something similar, because without this it will keep going wrong. And looking even further, there is here, and better viewable from this side, this part is here as well. So the question is, will it even fit? Because this part is keeping the whole, this part of the frame from driving apart. let's see. And so far I can't find a similar part, unfortunately. So that remains a problem, unless I can find another solution. Anyway, and now I've turned it around. This red gear is showing the same problem, but now I am in time to push it back in place. So let's do another run and see what happens. Look at that. The shear weight makes that it doesn't run. It is way too heavy right now. It can't lift itself from the floor. Well, big ouch. Even when the gears are working correctly and in full force, and even now they are not all running at the same speed. Look at that. So what am I supposed to do now? Good question. And I get sufficient input. So big questions to answer. Yep. Time for another test, this time using the community firmware. And last time I installed it freshly on a new memory card, because the old card had gone wrong. And something mysterious is now going on. While my riding robot using the same type of controller with the same firmware has no problem signing in. Right now I am signing in with an SSH terminal, but let me show it this way. Oops. It's asking me for permission for an SSH connection, and so now I have to say yes, and then I can log in. And formerly this was not the case. So now I hope the SSH connection will come through, and through it times out. And that's wrong. That's very remarkable that it times out. but now it asks for a password, so it is only once that it is being asked. So something in a known host configuration is somewhere not quite the way it seems to be, or has to be, or should be. Anyway, I'm logging in, and all I want to do now is run the software. So, oh, by the way, I had to replace the battery, and I don't like that, because I measured it in the past and the voltage difference is just a few tenths of a volt, which means that either it draws a lot of energy or the ECU needs to be replaced entirely. Just a brand new ECU, but it could be. Anyway, time for testing now. Starting the program, and I'm not touching yet. Alright, now the screen is scrolling along without doing anything. So let me lift it, and no, it's not doing anything. And unfortunately, it was last time as well. So I'm afraid I have to check on the software a bit. And I did that last time quickly as well and found no errors at all. Now, one other thing maybe is that I have another Mirft2 Python program installed. So now let me check on that, because this may get interesting. The one I have installed on this computer, on this laptop, is 3.4 kilobytes. But how much is it on here? .5. Date. So I'm not quite sure which is better. And I think I should make two versions to test which one is best. Anyway, this one doesn't run and I need to check it, because on the oscilloscope last time I didn't get any output either. So it is time for program replacement and oscilloscope time. I have relocated to the oscilloscope location, and you see here again the SSH login. Well, this is the first time after powering up this particular controller that I log in from this computer, so I have to acknowledge here now as well. And this is irritating. Now probably there is a timeout, maybe, could be, and I have to set the oscilloscope to pulse. Yep, continue timeout. So once again, yes, now it does. I'm logging in, and I have to do it here as well. Well, logging in anyway. And I want to show you something what I did just before relocating, because now I have from the other laptop the program. It is slightly different, and more remarkably it is a little bit smaller, but I also had, let me show you, I also had to change this, but if that was all okay. However, if I run this one, and now for safety's sake I will lift the entire robot and run, nothing happens at all. And this is the old version which I saved in the very first place. So now I will run the other one. Nothing at all. And I can show you, well, for this one, it really does work, and it did work. And so whatever is happening now suddenly, I have no clue. Let me go into editing mode. So this is the one I used to have. Now this is with respect to Python 2.7 to 3.0, and only for the print function, so it should have nothing to do with the rest. Here is just assigning the API, application programming interface, to a variable I introduced. So there's nothing to do with anything else. And here's a sync data begin. Now this I may have to change, because this, alright, let me change this one. And then this line as well, and then this line right here. Just to right. So now I have split these two tasks. And do I have to do it somewhere else as well? Not that I can see right now. Alright. So quit and do the other one. Alright, let's change it here as well. So now there are only two motor commands inside a sync data block. and here that was already the case. So let's see if this changes anything. I don't think so, but you never know. First this one. No change. Nothing at all. So time to change into the default firmware. See whatever that makes. Alright, I removed the key again in known hosts, so let's see how this works out. Yes. I'm in again, right back where I actually started. So let's see how this works out without any manual aid. Yeah, that was kind of supposed to expect it, because of this part of the frame. It is still connecting, but not quite as good. So let me run it again. I actually need to change the time base, I think. Five milliseconds. Let's check again. And once again here the pulses. Milliseconds. It works, kind of. So whatever is going wrong, let me check the code, because it shouldn't be too different from the code on the computer firmware. What's going on here? Yep. Apart from it having coded to copy it to the 120, which is the other laptop. And yet here, this is remarkable, here the motors are in one block, one sync data block, which proves that it should not be necessary to split them up. And that's the whole thing. So the program is nearly exactly the same. Alright, then you can see that this will never work because they are on two very different segments. Anyway, not using the camera for now. I've commented it out for quite a while now. But once it is being done, you will see that it gives connection problems. Two different segments will never connect. Never ever. So, in that respect, a very strange situation now that the same code does not work anymore on new firmware, on a new community firmware, with respect to this walking robot anyway. So, is this strange? Very. How to solve it? I don't know. I'll try to get in contact with the developers. Very strange. Anyway, that's it for this time. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and like the video. Follow me on Twitter, retweet and like. Follow me on Instagram and like. Please donate to keep the videos coming your way. Very, very much appreciated. And this is going to be continued one way or another. Bye bye.